Europe's productivity. It increases. So that's thing one. Thing two is just population. We had a big population increase in 22 and 23. And that doesn't help with per capita, but that moves top line. And what was the third thing? Oh, productivity. So we had a really significant burst in productivity, and from a range of factors, you can never tell exactly where it's coming from. Some of those factors suggest, this gets to your last question, suggest that productivity will be kind of a one-time event. So, you know, people were wound up automating a lot of functions in retail. You know, and because people didn't want to work in retail anymore, but that may just be a one-time thing. Technological developments, on the other hand, might give us years and years of productivity. So there are a whole bunch of other things, and so we don't really know how long this burst in productivity will be sustained. But I think I never expected to see productivity this high for this long. And our staff is marking up their estimates of potential growth for now, and taking some signal about the future. You won't have that population thing going forward, but productivity has been really strong, and I think it does actually raise, at least for the relatively near term, the level of potential output.
Okay, that's good. Okay, 30 years of teaching Booth students, I've learned you have to end these things with a fun question. So, who's your favorite central banker? And I'll give you a hall pass on anybody that was on the board while you've been there.
What defines favorite central banker? Living?
Okay, you can constrain to living, or you can specify dead.
Well, I mean, I would have, I don't know.
Open-ended question.
I'll take the easy route and say Paul Volcker, whom I did know over time, and you know, pretty obviously in central banking, nobody wants to be working in a central bank when inflation is really high, but everybody who works in a central bank knows what they have to do when inflation is high. And he set the gold standard for that. That is the thing. Most of the time, for 40 years, we haven't had to do that. It's just kind of demand management through a regular cycle. But when you have very high inflation and you have to do this, this is why we're independent. It's not for the good times. It's for the times when we're doing something which may be unpopular. That is our assignment. And I think Paul Volcker kind of established that. That was really not quite so clearly established at the time. So I'm going to go with Paul Volcker.
Okay, I'm going to out you on a private conversation, but I don't think you're going to mind too much, which is the Clark Center that hosts this event has a bunch of experts panels of economists where you can go ahead and answer a bunch of questions.
Yo.
Who your favorite economist is.
One sec, let me just get this thing down. All right, my people, how y'all doing? Did you take the ADA trade, the Cardano trade? It's the one that I'm showing right here. We're hitting TP1 right now. So TP1 hit. It's hit because Jerome Powell actually just said that they were confident over the inflation. And y'all guys remember what I said about inflation and Jerome Powell and what he needs to say before or on the previous live today. Sorry, I'm focusing on something else also. So on the previous live, I said that he needs to be positive about the inflation, that it's, you know, that they got it under control, and that is what triggered the market to rally. We got TP1 hit. Let's see if we can get TP2, because it's been a trend with these TP1s. We're hitting them, and that's good. Bag is a bag, but we want more than that, right? We're gonna listen to Trump speak very soon. They got the crypto summit going on right now. I'm gonna put the volume up there, so I'm not gonna do very much talking this stream. I'm gonna let you guys listen to this, and whenever I hear something that I want to share my input on, then I will share it with you guys. And if I see any trade that I take it. We have the ADA trade running, and yeah, man, that's it actually. When it comes to the stop loss, by the way, on the ADA, move it up, so that this now is a risk-free trade and profit. When I say move it up, I mean move it to 0.8277. That is just underneath this order block, this little order block that has formed here, all right? So if market wants to come back down and test this level, which is very possible because we just rejected the order block, then it's very possible that it comes back down. Then we want to have some safety here. If we get stopped out, we find a new trade, all right? With that said, guys, let's see what's being said here. I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'm in the chat all the time. What's up, Breakson? What's up, Fefe? Lucas, welcome. Welcome all of y'all guys. And by the way, don't forget to like. Smash that like button, guys. Obliterate it. We need the algo to boost this channel a little bit more, so I can do more of these streams, more high quality streams. But right now, YouTube is not favoring us. Already getting a small pullback here. We're gonna watch this. If I see anything, I will let you guys know, right?
Today, I am almost 13 years cancer-free. I am a sophomore at the University of Pennsylvania studying English and photography. I am a patient advocate who spreads awareness of less toxic cancer treatments that exist today because of science.
Market doesn't seem to like her.
Without
It
funding
turned bearish
research
directly.
that went into developing the treatment that saved my life, I wouldn't be here today. I stand up for science for all of the other children all over the world who are fighting cancer so they can get back to their childhood outside of the hospital. I stand up for science so kids can grow up to be the next generation of scientists. I stand up for science for underrepresented groups whose voices are not as heard as mine. Every child deserves equal and equitable access to life-saving treatments, no matter their background, identities, or where they come from. I stand up for science because science saved my life, and that is a fact. Thank you.
All right. Up next, I have the great pleasure to introduce one of my mentors and one of my role models and scientific heroes. Dr. Francis Collins is an American physician scientist who discovered the genes associated with a number of diseases and led the Human Genome Project. He served as director of the NIH 2009 to 2021, serving under 3 presidents. Dr. Collins announced Dr. Collins announced his retirement publicly from the NIH 6 days ago on March 1st, 2025, after 32 years of service. Please, please, please join me in welcoming one of my friends, role models, and mentors, Dr. Francis Collins.
Well, thanks, JP. That was a really nice introduction. And let me maybe ask you one more time to cheer for JP, for Emma, for Sam, for Colette, all the people that have organized this effort. You guys are amazing. Even more. So we're gathered here in front of the Lincoln Memorial. It's a sacred civic space. And we're celebrating the achievements of science over decades in bettering the human condition and advocating for strong public support at a time when serious threats of harm are happening. I'm a physician scientist. You heard I spent 32 years at NIH, including, NIH, including leading the Human Genome Project and serving presidents of both parties as the director. But I'm a patriot. I love my country, and I'm worried about my country right now. Just behind me, if you go and visit the memorial, you'll see etched on the wall the 271 unforgettable words of the Gettysburg Address. It occurs to me there might be a parallel there to what we're talking about. Let me remind you of the last sentence of that Gettysburg Address. That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Are we still there? Well, science has been of the people, hasn't it? We're studying ourselves sometimes to help ourselves to flourish. The Human Genome Project, after all, this 13-year effort revealed our own instruction book. This has transformed human biology and medicine. And please note this. That project only succeeded through the strong support of members of Congress and presidents of both parties back then. A little fun fact, estimates several years ago suggest that every dollar the government invested in the Human Genome Project led to $141 in economic returns. Not a bad ROI. We should keep emphasizing that part for the people who are less swayed by arguments about saving lives. We are also saving money. Come on. You know, that same visionary of the people perspective has birthed a number of other bold projects supported by the federal government. The Brain Initiative. Yeah? Figuring out how those 86 billion
Yeah, my people, it seems like their stream is lagging crazy, man. It's coming back on now. But I will see if I can find another stream that is better than this one.
Almost 1 million Americans to figure out genetics, environment, health.
Let me know if the sound and everything is good.
All those inputs to faith, to health that we don't understand well enough.
Oh, and by the way, this here right now is like meaningless. If you want to go take a shit or make some coffee or something like that, then now's the time. Because this now is just, you know, people saying their stuff, their opinion and everything. And we should have Trump getting on 7:30 Central European time. So Swedish, Spanish time and so on. So for now, it's just chill time for about 24 more minutes, 23 more minutes. Market is doing good. It's positive on Jerome Powell's speech and the news that came out very positive earlier today. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's talk a little bit while this is happening. This is what I see for the markets right now. I see good news coming in all the time. We get a minor pump and then there's some negative news and it's not even like that big of a deal. And market tanks. It's a very negative sign. This means that the market is going down further. So I'm pretty convinced that we will see 72K levels very, very soon. I think we might see it already next week, actually. Trump is to impose new tariffs now, and he will probably do it on Monday. What does that mean? That means that we will get another Sunday to Monday dump. We will wake up with the market bloody red as it has happened previously. But here's the thing. When that happens, directly after, I think we're gonna see a melt-facing bull run. And I know you guys want to hear that. It will come. It will happen. I am very, very sure of that. Why is that? Because everything is pointing at that. And you guys that have been with me on these lives, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about world global money supply, the M2 liquidity, and the adoption by nations, by institutions, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And all these big whales, these big fishes, these elites, they buy in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, forget all the other coins. Bitcoin is the most important thing. As long as that one pumps, your altcoins will pump as well. Doesn't matter if they're in a strategic crypto reserve or not. So I see a dump coming all the way down to 72K very, very soon. Like I say, it might happen already next week. Market is going to overreact. Here we got 72K. We got a whole lot of liquidity there. If you was on my previous live, then we went through all of that, and you know what I'm talking about. If not, watch the recording. It's some very valuable facts there. And from there, we will see a melt-facing bull run, like the craziest bull run we have ever seen, because the demand that we have inside crypto now, especially on Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's sick. It has never been nothing even close to it in previous bull runs. And this is my third bull run, so I should know. So what I'm trying to say is, it's very important now to be resilient and stay put and not over leveraging, but just conserving capital and trying to make maybe some on the way down. We will be looking for sales if market comes up, especially if it hits 95K, because we got liquidity on 95K. I want to see us grab that liquidity on 95K. Here we got it. So just on this top that we had on this previous crazy liquidation event when Trump imposed tariff and declared the crypto strategic reserve and all of that stuff, that was last week. No, it was actually this week, right? No, last week, sorry. So once again, I think we might get a little relief pump now, and we get it up to about 95, 96, maybe all the way up to 100K, getting everybody induced. Everybody's going to think that now we're going to the moon. We're hitting 100K, we're going to blow 100K out of the way, and we're going to continue. And then what's going to happen? We're going to get a massive dump. Because this is always the signs. Always when you see news that are positive and market doesn't react on it, that means that people are buying. People are buying on the news, but the market makers, those that run this game, they sell directly on it. So they use that opportunity to sell on you, and bringing the market down, suppressing the market, and when it's on the bottom, they buy it. This is regular procedure, not only in crypto, but it is what it is. What's up, Koyar? So with that said, I'm putting this thing back on, and if anything, I'm in the chat. I'll see if I find another stream, because this stream was jack.
And for infectious disease, which continues to be a major threat to humanity across the globe, that rollout of mRNA vaccines in just 11 months after the first detection of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Yeah, that will be seen by historians.
Something we need to keep doing and invest in. So I think
as perhaps science's greatest achievement up until now. I kid you not. 'Cause 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 'cause
Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
As perhaps science's greatest achievement up until...
Yeah, guys, sorry, man, but they seem to have major issues with their streaming from this event. Yo, Koyar, did you take TP1? Take profit 1, because it grazed TP1. It was very close. I think it's going to continue up, but we never know. We just need to get Trump speaking first, and then that. Nice, Square. Nice, man. You see this stuff? It's becoming a tradition for us to, you know, taking these TP1s. I should start just putting the trades like this. Boom, done, over with. But, you know, there's always these swing possibilities with it. This is why I always closed 50%, and that's a tactic that you guys should impose also. So I'm always closing 50% at TP1, and then I let the other 50% run, and when they hit last TP, I close 50% of those 50%. So I have 25% left of the entire trade, and that I let it run. And that is only if we are very low in the markets, like now, for example. Now is a good opportunity to do something like that, because we have so much more to gain from here up. There's so much room, so much liquidity that needs to be taken out. All this liquidity needs to be taken out, and this is why I think we're going to have a really good pump. But we need to just get this guy, this orange man, to speak, and he's gonna do some 50 minutes, and hopefully you can find a better stream, because this stream here was crap. Like you see, it just keeps loading all the time. I cannot find any other stream. Give me 1 sec, I'm gonna see if I can find something better. Yo, what's up, Matthias? Welcome, man. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna put the camera on so you guys see me, so you know that I am in flesh.
Science is responsible for more than 50% of the economic growth of the United States since World War II.
Yes! Fact.
That's a fact and not an opinion. Can there be improvements in efficiency of government agencies? Of course there can. During my 12 years as NIH director, we talked about those almost every day, and the search should continue. But interventions need to be made with full understanding of the whole ecosystem. While moving fast and breaking things might be an appropriate mantra for Silicon Valley, a better mantra when the decisions will potentially disrupt
Just a sec, guys. I'm finding a better stream for us, because that thing was lagging too much. Okay, I found one, but it hasn't started yet, so it will start soon. You kidding me? This one's gonna lag too? No. It's Russia, man. They are hacking their system. They don't want they don't want Trump to speak on crypto. Should you take a long on BTC, but be quick to TP, or will it be too difficult? Oof, Jake, that's a hard question. I don't know, man. Hard to say. Yo, guys, you hear what you see what Jake writes, man. 22 viewers, 9 likes. Support your man, support your boy, like the stream. And I'm gonna put this on so you guys can hear it.
That's after being down almost 400 points in the red, so a 500-point swing right now that we are seeing. And we heard from President Trump talking about the tariffs, talking about market volatility, and then we also heard from Jerome Powell already today, Fed chair, out in Chicago at an economic forum. So in the meantime, let's go back out to our live event that we are still featuring for you, the Stand Up for Science rally. Let's listen in.
My name is Gabriella, and yes, I live with a rare bone disease called Olier's disease. And I have been a patient my entire...
All right, so this is what we just watched. They're replaying it, but...
in a research study with the National Institute of Health.
They're just replaying it, but the good thing is we found a good stream. We got 10 minutes to Trump speaks. We see that everything is on the rise, and like I said before, everything is on the rise because Jerome Powell just talked, and he said that we have inflation in somewhat kind of control, you know, like they were happy with the numbers they've seen. It was much more positive than it has been during the FOMC meetings and other opportunities or events where Jerome Powell has spoken. So he is optimistic on inflation, that it's going down, is super important because that means that we are closer to cutting interest rates in the United States. And if they cut interest rates, that is mega bullish for crypto. That means more liquidity boosting into the system. We already got China, we got Germany, they're starting QE now, quantitative easing, which means they're injecting liquidity into the system. And if United States starts to do it now, boom, this will be a sick year. But and the charts show that they should, because the M2 liquidity supply is booming up a lot. And now we see that the numbers are coming in with unemployment and all of that stuff that is necessary for them to start boosting the economy in the United States. And the way to boost the economy is by quantitative easing. So that is what we're waiting for. And we want to hear Trump now say, listen, okay, so before Trump speaks, he speaks in 9 minutes. It's important that you guys know what to expect. We already know they're not going to acquire any Bitcoin right now. We want to hear a plan. We want to hear a crypto reserve plan where they give us some details on how they are going to acquire this TikTok, especially what's up, Emil? Welcome, man.
And what tariffs could mean if they are
in 9 minutes he speaks. So we want to hear a plan where he presents how they're going to acquire crypto, and that they're going to acquire it very soon. When I say acquire, I mean buy, of course. So that they're going to start buying it very soon. And that is it. If he says that, nah, they're not going to buy any crypto right now, the XRP and Cardano and Solanas that are going to be in the reserve are going to be donated from the Cardano and XRP and blah, 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 from the companies, from their reserves. It means there's not going to be any buy pressure on the market from this event. And this means, of course, that the market is going to be very disappointed and it's going to tank. Because when people get disappointed, when something doesn't live up to their expectations, that is when you get to sell the news event. So right now we are I'm going to be honest with you, I'm expecting a pump, but then I'm expecting a dump. And I think the dump will come on Monday already. And that dump can get us all the way down to 72K. Why on Monday? because I said it before, but we got new viewers, because Trump just hinted that he might impose tariffs already on Monday. If that happens, you will see what happens. But until that, I think we will get a bear trap pump. So this pump that will be now, it will be a bull trap. This will be a bull trap. Everybody will get sucked in. We will come close to 100K. Got a lot of liquidity resting above. And then when everybody thinks that it's flowers and bees and we're gonna live happy forever after, boom, it's gonna tank. And after that, you're gonna see the craziest bull run you have seen in history. I would like to say, actually, I would argue that this will be one of the craziest bull runs there has ever been. So that is what we're waiting for. All right, guys. With that said, I'm gonna put the
economic development
audio
throughout
on
the
here
Western
again.
world and throughout Northern America. So if you don't want Canadian aluminum to make planes and beer cans for your citizens, if you don't want our electricity and our oil to heat your homes and fuel your cars, if you don't want our fertilizer to grow your food, that's a problem for us, Canadian cities, because we're losing sales. Our businesses are losing sales. That is one of the reasons we are here today. But it's also a problem for American citizens. And it's also a problem for American businesses because it will make life more expensive. Canada is not ripping off Americans. There's no such things as winners and losers in this relation. If the idea is to develop the American economy and lower the cost of living for citizens, I believe this is not the way to go. Some talks about the golden age of USA. Maybe we should talk about the golden age of North America, because the truth is that you need Mexico's affordable labor and you need Canada's plentiful natural resources in order to be the greatest economy on this earth. What is beneficial? We are beneficial to one another. We need each other and we are stronger if we work together. And I think that's the core message that we want to send today, that we need to be working along each other. Alors, quelques mots en français pour mes collègues au pays. On a eu la chance de rencontrer nos homologues américains dans les derniers jours, parler d'économie, parler de nos industries, parler de ce qui nous rassemble. Et une des choses qui nous rassemble, c'est l'économie. C'est nos industries qui sont intégrées et qui permettent de produire, en fait, de fournir des emplois et de fournir une richesse qui nous permet de financer des services publics et qui est tellement crucial. Et ce que j'ai énoncé en anglais.
We will definitely keep an eye on this here for you. This forum does continue, but we will take a 2-minute break on Live Now from Fox. We'll be back in just moments with much more.
All right. While they're having a break, so let's talk a little bit. So you asked a good question here. When is the bull run starting? And yeah, like I said, I believe it's going to start I think there's a big chance that it will start the 19th of March. And 19th of March, we have the FOMC meeting. And Jerome Powell already hinted now that they have the inflation where they want to have it. Super, super important. Yes, Liriron, this is the Crypto Summit. It's going to start now in 3 minutes. Mr. Trump is going to speak. So while Mr. Trump is speaking, somebody more important is speaking, and then that is me. No, but seriously, like, that's the thing. So the game plan for me now, how I see the markets right now, is that now we will get a pump. Jerome Powell already gave us some positive outlooks on the inflation. What Trump will say, I don't know. I think he will say something that will continue the pump, and we'll probably get up to like 95, 100K. People will get super bull trapped, and then on Monday market liquidates. That is a very possible scenario, and it liquidates all the way down to 72K. It doesn't have to be on Monday, but whenever that happens. But I think on 19th of March we have the FOMC meeting, and by the way, considering how Jerome Powell was speaking today, like how he has changed his tone to more positive, I'm expecting him to say very positive things on the 19th of March, and that will send the market skyrocketing. As soon as the market believes that there's going to be money printing, the market is going to fly. Let's listen to what they say. We got 1 or 2 minutes left until Jerome Powell speaks. And if anything, type it in the chat. I'm going to put the camera off.
And so much more. Let's listen in.
So we are looking for our federal governments and the leaders of our federal governments to come together, to work together, to understand that this partnership goes back over 70 years, and that Canada is America's #1 trading partner. And as it's been stated over and over again, that the Great Lakes region is the 3rd largest economy in the world. And we want to make sure that it's stable. We have to make sure that it's not volatile and uncertain and complex and ambiguous, but we need clear vision of where we're going. We need an understanding of how important we are to each other. We need clarity on how we're going to work together, and we have to be agile enough to be able to make adjustments in real time. Thank you so much.
I want to thank my colleagues for so eloquently and diplomatically sharing their perspectives at this critical juncture for the United States and Canada. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Great Lakes governors who have come out expressing their opposition to tariffs on Canada. Thank you for standing up for our regional economy and unique relationship, and for standing Great Lakes St. Lawrence strong. At this time, we are looking for questions from the press. Yes.
Just saying on the.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, one word from our player.
Bonjour à vous tous. My name is Gino Moretti. I'm the mayor of Saint-Anicet, Quebec, Canada. And I have the privilege and honor of being the co-chair of the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence City Initiative. The last couple of days, we have worked with a partnership, the Mississippi River Towns and City Initiative. We share a common bond, working together to ensure, as my colleague behind me has stated you. But today, I stand before you with a very powerful message: unity. It is a word often divided by visible and invisible barriers. It is essential to remember that our strength lies in our ability to stand together. Unity does not mean uniformity. It does not mean that we have to think, act, or believe the same way. Rather, unity is celebrating the richness and our diversity between our both great nations. It calls us to acknowledge our difference in finding a commodities that brings us together. It is this harmony between our individual countries to work together for the same purpose, for the power, and for the well-being of our both nation population. When we stand together, we can overcome many differences, especially tough challenges. Together, we can build bridges where there were walls. Together, we can reach out to those in need. Together, we can change the course of history. Remember this: unity is not an idea, it is an action. It begins with a smile, a word of encouragement, a gesture of generosity. The Great Lakes City Initiative in the Mississippi, that's what we do. We share what we know, what's best for our population. When you have a workplace, a relationship, we live within two great nations and great leaders. So let's commit ourselves today as the architect of unity. Together, hand in hand, let us build our future. What our difference do not divide us, but it enriches us for the well-being of our population on both sides. Our future, despite the challenge as we move forward between two great nations. In conclusion, the rest of the world will see two great nations working together with strong leadership. As my colleagues behind me, strong local leadership for the well-being of our population to answer their needs in the process. But every day is a new path that makes both countries together like we all say, God bless North America, because together we can achieve many things. We're now open for questions. Let's see.
I'm here, right over here.
I'm Mona from Regional Elected Executive. For mayor of Portage, maybe. I think because the meeting we have in the White House is formed. So can you tell us more about this meeting? And also, was it a good idea for the Alliance to go there, even though Canadian mayor were not welcome? It's possible in French also, but
unfortunately, I have a goal to learn, and I mean that sincerely, I have a goal to learn French, or at least working French by next year, because if there's one thing I've learned is to be involved in this organization, I need to be able to speak the language of the key people in it, you know? And I'm sorry, I caught most of your question, but who was it who went, or what was the last part?
meeting, mayors from Canada were not invited. So was it a good idea to go there in the White House, even though a large part of the Alliance was not present, was not welcome?
Yes, and so the circumstance that happened there is that we were informed by the White House, I believe within less than 48 hours, that they were not going to be able to process the Canadian mayors. That's what we were told, and that's the only information we have, you know, as to that matter. The decision was made for myself and 2 other American mayors who are here as well, to go. And before we went, we sat down with all the Canadian mayors, and the big thing I asked, and I think that you guys can all say this, is what do you need me to say there for you? What questions do you want me to ask? What can we, you know, bring back? How do we want to approach this? The question is, what was it appropriate? I believe that having the opportunity for an organization like the Great Lakes Cities Initiative to be able to meet with anyone in the administration, I believe is a positive opportunity for the organization to get in and get a message planted. Unfortunately, we were not able this year to get the message planted by all of us. My hope is that next year we go back to how it's been in previous years where we were all able to get in. I hope that makes sense.
What about the meeting itself? Will they hear you?
So we met with an administration official and a new administration official, and a lot of the meeting was us explaining the importance of the Great Lakes, what the water means to all of our cities. We spoke about the trade situation and how we are concerned that it impacts all of us because our region is one very united economy. So any impact on one country impacts the other, but in particular in the Great Lakes. We also spoke on the importance of passing and the Great Lakes, well, darn it, Restoration Act, sorry, initiative. It's a long bill. Good. We spoke about the importance of having it renewed by the year 2026, getting that done this year. It's something that we spent a lot of time explaining what goes into it and the over 8,000 projects that it has helped get through. We also spoke just a very good deal about the importance of having a stronger economy on the Great Lakes, taking advantage of the fact that we're no longer the Rust Belt, we are the Opportunity Belt. And we want to make sure that our local governments are involved in the way that we're reshaping like regulation and incentives out on the lake. I'll also add that we advocated for the recreation of what was called the water sub-cabinet, which is something that was created at the tail end of the previous Trump administration. For whatever reason, didn't get continued into the next one, and we're very much hoping for it to come back. I'll give you a very good example from this meeting, though. One of the things we were asked immediately is there already a Canadian equivalent of that? And we said, well, we don't know right now because there's no Canadian mayors with us, but as soon as we can get back to them, we can get back to you. There is a Canadian equivalent of the water sub-cabinet. I was very excited to hear that. So if the new people in the administration, even though the previous Trump administration had created such a sub-cabinet, if they need any help on how to do it, I'm sure that our Canadian counterparts can assist them on that. So very thankful to know that as well. I hand it back to you.
Further questions right over here?
That's my whiplash going again right now. that he'll be going ahead with the steel and aluminum tariffs next. So if you could speak a bit about obviously how that's going to impact Hamilton, how worried are you, and the dairy and lumber as well?
Thanks, Megan. I really appreciate that. And of course, Hamilton has been known as a steel city for a very long time. We continue to have both primary steel making as well as secondary processing. And we have really significantly growing advanced manufacturing that happens within that industry as well. The impact for us will be $1 billion probably out of our economy. Probably 20,000 workers, if not more, will be impacted. As I said in my remarks, many of the things that we make in Hamilton, and we're a city that makes things, and we always have been, come across the border and back and forth and back and forth. And so we know that that happens. I think people understand that happens in auto. It happens in steel as well. So the impacts will be wide ranging. And I've had a roundtable meeting with some of the manufacturers and steelmakers in the city already. I did that on Monday prior to coming here, and they're concerned. It's the immediate impacts, yes, but the longer these things last, the more untractable it becomes, right? The relationships break down. They talked about the fact that their relationships with the companies that they supply are strong. The last time there was a disruption like this, some of those relationships fractured, and it takes a long time to rebuild them once again. And so this is going to happen across both of our economies. I'll let somebody from perhaps Quebec talk about the dairy piece, but thanks for the question, Megan.
Chaque jour amène son lot d'informations nouvelles. Alors demain, ça va être quoi? Ça va être les bâtons de hockey, parce qu'on est meilleur au hockey. Ça va être après-demain la gentillesse.
All right, everyone, we are going to take another 2-minute break here during this question and answer period for the U.S. mayors and Canadian mayors in the Great Lakes region, talking about trade and tariff war possibilities. You are watching live now from Fox. We'll be back in just 2.
All right. I don't know what's up with this Trump guy, but he's not coming in yet. He was supposed to come in 7:30. We are at 7:41 now, Central European time. Market is doing good. It's doing okay. But the question is, how will it do when he opens his mouth? Now, regarding the markets also, speaking of the market, so let's look at it for a little second. Opa, that was not my intention. So everything that I'm looking at right now is hitting resistance. Here's like, let me just do a quick markup for you guys. So you see here, resistance, all right? And same thing with XRP, resistance, full resistance. It's an order block there. ADA, same thing. Solana, same thing. Solana's doing really good, by the way, man. It's strong. Look at this. Look at Solana. And Sui, all of these. So same thing, hitting resistance and having some trouble getting past it, which is expected. It should be like that. Now, what I'm trying to say with that is, if you got trades running, this is the time when you want to take profit. You always want to take profit when you hit resistance. And what we need to see is BTC smash through this resistance. Let me take this away. It's a little bit too cloggy here. We need to see it smash through all of this resistance, especially this first resistance here now. Find support on top. So we want to see it do something like this. Find support there so we can continue up. And like I said, the goal is 95K. After 95K, I think it's a big chance that we are dipping. And for our guys that have been on the stream for a couple of minutes now, sorry for repeating myself, but we get new people on the stream. And I think it's very important on the craziest bull run we have ever seen. All right, let's see if we can get some Trump going on.
Talking about trade. Let's listen in on Live Now.
Determine what is actually what we're talking about. Okay, milk is not good. What to do is that's not going to solve anything. We can allow the responsibility departments to negotiate and relook at the plan. What do we mean by sharing free borders with milk? How do we increase our borders? Because North America right now, in the future years, if I had a glass vision, it would allow us to be self-sufficient in both borders. How? By sharing our common goals, sharing our farming capacity, sharing our food. This is the only way we're going to survive. Thank you.
Two more questions in the, yeah. Yeah.
We are not able to speak this time who we met with just because of the nature of how the meeting was set up. And I apologize that I can't say at this time. That's all I can say, unfortunately.
All right, so it seems that Trump is coming up 8 p.m. Central European time. This is like a warm-up before Trump starts talking. So yeah, man, we just waiting.
Right now, it's a matter of relationship building with the new administration. And I know that this might not be what people want to hear because, of course, there's hopefully people in other positions of authority, both on the United States and on the Canadian side, working to resolve this. But for us, as an advocacy organization for the municipalities in both countries, we're approaching this, and we approached it this morning with, I'm sorry, this afternoon with building the relationship with a new administration and really introducing our organization so that each time that we come back, throughout the year with the amazing staff that we have and each Great Lakes Day, it's just an amazing coincidence that Great Lakes Day was this week while all these matters were going on. The goal is that to be able to build that relationship that hopefully turns into a working relationship. Even when you disagree with someone, if they're happy to see you, you have the ability to make progress. And what I can say is that I think that this meeting began that process of building a relationship. As I said, and we all met with the Canadian mayors before we went into this White House meeting. And the big thing that I discussed is what are the things you guys want us to bring up? And the big thing is are the things that you want us to take back from the meeting? What questions can I ask? Really for us, what we're trying to figure out right now, because to put it as simply as I can, if you poll each of us about our opinion on trade policy for either country, I'm sure you get all sorts of a spectrum of views on that. What we all understand, we all agree is that there's something untoward about a blanket 25% tariff, especially when the goal is not clear. And so the big thing that we're trying to understand, we're trying to create a relationship to help understand better is what's the real goal that's trying to be achieved with this? I don't have the answer. If I had the answer, I'd tell you, and I'm sure I'd be all over the news about how we fix this. But for this organization, and if I can also say, having been involved in this organization prior to this year, it's growing, and it's an organization that I think is going to be increasingly important in helping to connect Canadian, U.S. interests, especially on the Great Lakes, and advocate for the needs in both countries. So I'm excited for that. And so I know I'm not giving a perfect answer to your question, but I just want to assure you that this is the beginning of what I think is a very important, very strategic new way forward for us to advocate for both the United States and the governments of Canada. I don't know how to put it. If that happens, it's not because of anything I said today, other than, or anything that Eddie or Sean said, other than the fact that we are trying to build such a good relationship that officials in this administration are aware that there are people on both sides of the Great Lakes who want to see things improved much better than they are right now.
Well, as we've said, in a tariff war, there is no winners. Mount Vernon, fortunately, is not supplied directly by Ontario, but in the lower parts of New York, in the southern parts of New York, we're already facing a 15 to 20% increase in electricity and electricity delivery costs. And so when you're looking at northern New York, that definitely is supplied by Ontario. that is a big hit in our state. No one can live without electricity. There's not an immediate plan. And so it is a serious issue. And I've had an opportunity to speak to our governor's office this morning. And we're hoping, like other things, this is something that can be delayed. But that's a conversation that has to happen at the national levels. And we're not at that level, but we are paying close attention to it. Our governor is paying close attention to it as well. And those conversations will continue.
So I would just say that my name is Marcus Muhammad, Mayor of the City of Benton Harbor, Michigan. Although there was a White House meeting, which is the executive branch, this group and this body met with many of the legislators, which make up the legislative branch. Senator Gary Peters, Senator Alyssa Slotkin, Senator Schumer, Senator Tammy Duckworth, Representative Bill Heisinger, Representative Rashida Tlaib, and many others. And the information sharing that took place, I think, is where the real power is. Because one thing we do know that the country does not operate just on the executive branch. It's checks and balances, and the legislative branch will have a say in this as well. Because at the end of the day, it's connecting people, and they hear from the people. And I think that once this continues to move forward, I think hopefully cooler heads will prevail and the tension will subside. But your question with Michigan? Right now, I'm optimistic, and at the same time, I'm realistic. I am speaking and working with Governor Whitmer. She will be in Benton Harbor on Monday. So I'll be able to brief her on the action that we took here. But I think that things will subside. But what we don't want, and one of the reasons why we came together, you mentioned dairy, and they say milk once sour, never sweet again. So we don't want to sour the relations. We want to show our unity at the bottom, and hopefully that diplomacy will trickle up to the top.
All right, I want to thank everybody for your attention today. I thank everybody for being a part of a press conference. I want to thank the Great Lakes St. Lawrence City's initiative staff for setting things up, and to my fellow colleagues, mayors, and leaders.
All right, so that conference coming to an end, as well as the question and answer period, talking a lot, of course, on tariff wars and what it would mean to not only U.S. mayors, but also Canadian mayors as well and their districts. All right, let's continue on. I'm live now from Fox. Keep you out in Washington, D.C. for more of this Stand Up for Science rally that is happening right now on the National Mall.
Once again, I'm taking the privilege of introducing somebody who's been very special in my experience at the NIH as the director for 12 years, and before that at the Genome Project. A wonderful former congressman from the state of Michigan who was the main author, along with his colleague, Diana DeGette, of the 21st Century Cures Bill, which many people consider the most significant legislation of this millennium when it came to supporting medical research. Never mind. So please welcome Congressman Fred Upton.
You know, it was some 40 years ago that I worked at the White House at the Office of Management and Budget, and I learned a lesson there, that it was the budget that drove the policy and not the policy driving the budget. And I thought that was wrong. So I ran for office. And I won. I was elected and re-elected for 36 years in the House. And bipartisanship was my guiding light, whether I served in the majority or the minority. And in the 90s, Speaker Gingrich tapped me to be the Republican lead to double the money for the NIH. My partner was John McCain, And Henry Waxman and Paul Wellstone as Democrats in the House and the Senate, and we won. We got it done. You know, today there's about 10,000 different diseases, and we have cures for so far few. We've all got family members and know so many others with serious life-threatening diseases that impact our families and communities, and it breaks our hearts to see that suffering. Diana.
Former Congressman Fred Upton speaking right now at this science rally. We'll get you back out there, but we got to take our final break here of the hour. We will be right back with much more coming up next on Live Now from Fox. Here for you on Live Now from Fox. Thanks again for joining us. As always, I'm your host, Mike Page, taking you now back out to Washington, D.C. This is a live rally it's called Stand Up for Science. Let's continue to listen in right now on Live Now from Fox.
The University Irving Medical Center summed it this way. Look in your medicine cabinet. Do you see a medication for treating a chronic illness or preventing disease? Chances are you can thank the NIH for that. But she's not done. Think about someone who has survived cancer. If not for the NIH, that person might not be with us. Or consider the future of a friend or family member with Alzheimer's disease, a heart condition, or mental illness. Where will we find the treatments to alleviate their sufferings? The answer almost certainly involves the NIH. My friends, I thank you. Thank you for your hard work and courage to do the right thing by choosing this career. We cannot afford to let you go and lose the opportunity that for cures that impact all of us across the earth. Francis said a little while ago, yes, we are the envy of the world. First, do no harm. I want to add, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. God bless you all.
y'all. We got one more speaker for this block before we get into some music. I heard some NIH chants over there. Can we get that going again? NIH. 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 All right, y'all. It is my pleasure to introduce Senator Christopher Van Hollen. Currently the senior U.S. Senator from Maryland, a seat he has held since 2017.
Give you the exact numbers in a little while coming out on lumber. So they sell us lumber. They have a tremendous tariff. They make it impossible for us to sell lumber or dairy products into Canada, but our numbers are a tiny fraction of that, almost non-existent. And what we're doing is freeing up our forests from the environmental nonsense that they put on them, where you can't cut down a tree. And we have to cut down trees in order to build the firewalls. And those trees are sold, but we're freeing it up on an emergency basis because Canada has been ripping us off for years on tariffs for lumber and for dairy products. 250%, nobody ever talks about that. 250% tariff, which is taking advantage of our farmers, so that's not gonna happen anymore. They'll be met with the exact same tariff unless they drop it. And that's what reciprocal means. And we may do it as early as today, or we'll wait till Monday or Tuesday. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna charge the same thing. It's not fair, never has been fair. And they've treated our farmers badly. Look, our country's been ripped off by everybody. That stops now. I had it stopped in my first term, and we're going to really stop it now because this has been very unfair. Our country, from an economic standpoint, and financial standpoint, and a trade standpoint, has been absolutely ripped off by almost every country in the world. Canada, Mexico, and then you just go right down the line. India charges us massive tariffs, massive. You can't even sell anything into India. It's almost restrictive. It is restrictive. You know, we do very little business inside. They've agreed, by the way, they want to cut their tariffs way down now because somebody's finally exposing them for what they've done. And same thing with China, same thing with a lot of other countries. And the EU has been a terrible abuser of this country. I mean, the EU was formulated in order to take advantage of the United States, and they have taken it, but they're not taking advantage when I'm in charge. So sometimes you'll hear some negative things. It's always from outside countries. America will be very strong. And you know, if I'm a foreign country, they're gonna do fine, but they can't do like they used to do because we're gonna bring back our business into this country. We need it from a job standpoint. We need it from even just a psychological standpoint. Think of it, 90,000 factories are gone since the beginning of NAFTA. So we're not gonna have that, and we're gonna see them build it back. Now we've already had 5 major automobile companies. First time you've heard this in a long time, since my first term actually, where we were really rocking and rolling, and then Biden came in and he stopped everything, like such a stupid thing to do, not even a believable thing. But we have many auto plants now coming in. We have big chip plants. We have the biggest chip company in the world, most powerful, probably one of the most powerful companies in the world. Wouldn't you say, Kevin? And he's coming in and they're building one of the largest chip plants in the world. That'll be done in Arizona, mostly in Arizona. And that'll give us a big percentage. That one plant will give us a big percentage of the chip market, something we have very little of. You know, we used to have Intel, and Intel was run by a man named Andy Grove. And Andy Grove was a tough, smart guy. I used to read about him when I was a young man, and he did an incredible job. He really dominated the chip business. And then he died, and I guess they had a series of people that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and we gradually lost the chip business, and now it's almost exclusively in Taiwan. They stole it from us. They took it from us, and I don't blame them. I give them credit. I blame the people that were sitting in this seat because they allowed it to happen. We could have protected that so easily, but so we had the chip business, and now it's all in Taiwan, almost exclusive, a little bit in South Korea, but mostly in Taiwan. And it's very important. Everything you do, everything you touch is now about chips. The brake of a car, cars have chips all over the place. I was reading an article the other day where they talk about the brakes of a car are loaded up with chips. Who would think that a brake has a chip in it? But it's all about chips. So that was a big thing. And he'll be investing hundreds of billions of dollars in this country, and we'll be taking back a big portion of that industry. We have others coming in too. But a lot of car manufacturers are coming in, and they're coming in fast. And one of the reasons you see these numbers, and again, Kevin said it, and I said it a little bit, but the fact that they know I won the election, so after I was president-elect, they assumed that I was going to do what I said, because I do what I say. And so these numbers really reflect a lot of things that took place since November 5th. Right? So Kevin, thank you very much. Great job. Any questions?
Mr. President, how concerned are you that the large-scale federal government layoffs will weaken the labor market? How concerned are you?
The large-scale fentanyl what?
The federal government layoffs will impact the labor market, will weaken the labor market.
Oh. No, I think the labor market's going to be fantastic, but it's going to have high-paying manufacturing jobs as opposed to government jobs. We had too many people in government. You can't just do that. We had many too many. This is for 40 years. You know, this isn't just now. This built up and got worse and worse, and they just hire more and more people. You look at Department of Education, it seems like so many buildings I ride by, it says Department of Education. They're all over the place. And we don't even want it. We want the education to be given by the states. It'll be much better. It'll move us to the top of the list from the
I want to hear a hubbub. I want to hear a hullabaloo. I'm going to send my message to President Trump through this microphone since, unfortunately, he doesn't have a number. You do your calling while I'm doing my calling. President Trump, thank you for listening to my message. I'm an American and I'm a patriot and I support scientific research. We need to make sure that scientific research is independent, and I want you to end censorship and political interference in science. I want you to secure and expand public funding. And I want you to defend diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in science. Science needs to look like America. Thank you for listening.
All right, my people. So the crypto summit started 7:30, but now it comes out that apparently Trump will speak 9 o'clock on Fox News. I actually have it here. So what we will do is I will basically get on again on 9 o'clock, open a new stream. I will schedule that stream right now so you guys see it. You can directly, what is it called? Tap into it, and then you will be notified whenever it goes live. So I will see you guys in 53 minutes, basically. I will start like 5 minutes before. We will see where the market is, how it's going. Jerome Powell has already spoken. This is why you see the market pumping. You can thank him for take profit 1 if you were on this ADA trade that we took. And that's basically it. I've shared everything. I will share everything again on just before Trump starts speaking. But I'll see you guys in about 50 minutes, all right? And thank you for watching. See you soon.